Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of coins, currency, and the unexpected treasures that could be hiding in your pocket change. Rarest coins. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss out on rare coin finds, market insights, and incredible true stories. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most surprising coins in American numismatic history. It's a coin that you might have walked past 100 times, never realizing the fortune it could hold. I'm talking about the 1966 Washington quarter dollar, a coin so common that millions were minted, but one example became the headline of auctions after being sold for a staggering $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.8 million for a single quartered. Oh, how did a coin that's supposed to be worth just 25 cents turn into a millionaire's collector item? Stay tuned because in this video, we'll break down the history of the 1966 quarter, its design, its special characteristics, what makes one of them so valuable, and how to tell if you might just have one in your own collection. Let's rewind a bit. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. What was meant to be a one-year commemorative coin quickly became a permanent fixture in U.S. currency. The design featured a profile of George Washington on the front, based on a bust created by Jean-Antoine Houdon, and on the back, an eagle with outstretched wings. Now, by 1966, the United States was dealing with a serious coinage shortage. Silver prices were on the rise and silver coins were being hoarded. So in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a major change. They eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, shifting to a copper-nickel-clad composition. The 1966 quarter was part of this transition period. That year, over 800 million quarters were minted. They were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's something you need to know. 1966 quarters do not have a mint mark. The government temporarily removed mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage collecting during the coin shortage. Most 1966 quarters are nothing special. They're found in junk drawers, coin jars, and old wallets. But every once in a while, one coin stands out from the crowd. Now let's talk about the million-dollar mystery. One very specific 1966 quarter surfaced at auction and stunned experts. What made this coin so special? It was a mint error, but not just any error. This particular quarter was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet, something that wasn't supposed to happen. It somehow made it past quality control and into circulation. Put that in perspective, 1964 was the last year quarters were officially made with silver. But during the transition in 1965 and even into 1966, it's believed that a small number of leftover silver blanks were still mixed into the new clad coin production. These are called transitional error coins, and they are incredibly rare, but that's not all. This coin was also in near-perfect condition, graded as Mint State 68 by a top grading agency. That kind of flawless preservation is extremely rare for circulation coins, especially from the 1960s. It had full luster, no visible wear, and razor-sharp details. The final twist? It was authenticated, verified, and certified, and then it went up for auction. Bidding was fierce. The room was full of serious collectors and high-end investors. When the final hammer came down, the coin had sold for an unbelievable $1.8 million. That one quarter became one of the most valuable circulation-era coins ever sold. So here's the question on everyone's mind. How can you tell if your 1966 quarter is worth something? Could you have one of these rare errors sitting in your change? Here are a few things to look for. First, check the weight. A standard 1966 copper-nickel-clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter will weigh slightly more, around 6.25 grams. You'll need a precise digital scale for this. Second, listen to the sound. Silver coins produce a high-pitched ringing sound when dropped gently on a hard surface, while clad coins have a duller, more muted tone. Third, look closely at the edges. A clad quarter will have a visible copper stripe on the edge, while a silver quarter will have a solid silver edge with no color variation. And lastly, if you think you've found something unusual, don't clean it. Send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Even without the rare error, high-grade 1966 quarters can still sell for a premium. In top condition, they can be worth $100 or more. But those rare transitional errors? That's where life-changing money can come in. So why do collectors spend millions on coins like this? It comes down to rarity, condition, historical significance, and sometimes just the story behind the coin. A transitional era like the silver 1966 quarter represents a unique moment in U.S. mint history. It's a product of human error during a major shift in the nation's coinage system. And in collecting, those moments are priceless. Coin collecting is about more than just profit. It's about discovery. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the preservation of history, and sometimes it's about finding value in the things most people overlook. So, there you have it. The story of the 1966 Washington quarter dollar that sold for $1.8 million. A coin that wasn't supposed to exist. A coin that slipped through the cracks. A coin that made history. Now, go check your coin jar. Take a closer look at that old quarter sitting in your drawer. You never know. It could be worth far more than just 25 cents. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you have a 1966 quarter in your collection. And don't forget to share this video with fellow collectors and friends. The next big discovery might be just a pocket away. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, happy coin hunting. Would you like a thumbnail title suggestion or a blog version of this script as well? Welcome back to the channel where we dig into the hidden stories behind your pocket change, hunt for rare coins, and reveal how everyday money can turn into life-changing treasure. Rarest coins. If you're a collector, a coin enthusiast, or just someone who found an old quarter and started wondering if it might be valuable, this video is for you. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1965 Washington quarter. Most people see this coin and think nothing of it. It looks common. It feels common. And for the most part, it is. But one 1965 Washington quarter broke all expectations and sold for an absolutely stunning $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth 25 cents sold for almost $2 million. How is that even possible? What made this 1965 quarter so special? Could you have one sitting in your coin jar or change drawer right now? Stick around, because we're going to break down the full story, the historical context, the details that make this coin unique, and how to tell if your 1965 quarter could be worth a fortune. History of the Washington quarter. Let's begin with a little history. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was supposed to be a one-year commemorative coin but ended up becoming the standard quarter design for decades. From 1932 to 1964, quarters were made from 90% silver. But everything changed in 1965. The United States was going through a major coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, and people began hoarding coins for their metal content. In response, Congress passed legislation removing silver from dimes and quarters. Starting in 1965, these coins were struck using a new copper-nickel-clad composition. The 1965 Washington quarter marked the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage. It was the first year of the modern, non-silver quarter. But here's where it gets interesting. The $1 million mint ERROR among the millions of 1965 quarters that were minted, one turned out to be very different. This specific coin, the one that sold for $1.9 million, wasn't struck on the new copper-nickel planchet. Instead, it was mistakenly struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from 1964. That should not have happened. The U.S. Mint had phased out silver for circulation coins completely. But somehow, during the transition, a few silver planchets were still left in the machinery or accidentally fed into the presses. That mistake created what collectors call a transitional error. These types of errors are incredibly rare and extremely valuable. What made this particular 1965 silver quarter even more extraordinary was its condition. It was found in uncirculated mint state, with sharp details, beautiful luster, and almost no imperfections. It was graded MS 68 by a leading grading agency, which is an exceptionally high grade for any coin from the 1960s. When the coin went to auction, collectors recognized immediately what it was. A one-of-a-kind transitional silver error from 1965, preserved in near-perfect condition. Bidding was intense. The hammer finally dropped at a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. How to tell if your 1965 quarter is valuable? Now, let's talk about what everyone really wants to know. Could your 1965 quarter be worth a fortune? Here are the signs to look for. First, weigh the coin. A standard copper-nickel clad quarter from 1965 should weigh about 5.67 grams, but a silver quarter will weigh closer to 6.25 grams. You'll need a high-precision digital scale to measure this accurately. Second, inspect the edge. Regular clad quarters have a visible copper stripe along the edge. A silver quarter will have a solid silver edge, with no copper showing. Third, listen to the sound. Silver coins have a distinctive high-pitched ring when dropped gently on a hard surface. Clad coins make a duller, flatter sound. If your quarter looks or feels different, and especially if you suspect it's silver, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin will reduce or even destroy its value. Instead, get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Even if you don't have the $1 million silver error, some 1965 quarters can still fetch good money. High-grade coins in mint state condition, especially those with full details and sharp edges, can sell for hundreds of dollars. Unique mint errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or broad strikes are also sought after by collectors. Why this coin matters to collectors. The reason this coin became so valuable is not just because of the metal content. It's because it tells a story. The 1965 silver quarter represents a rare moment in American coin history. It's a mistake that slipped through the tight controls of the U.S. Mint during a time of major change. That combination of historical importance, rarity, and perfect condition is what makes a coin like this so desirable. It's not just a quarter. It's a piece of American history. And for collectors, finding something that shouldn't exist, something unique, is the ultimate prize. Closing and collectation. So there you have it. The incredible story of the 1965 Washington quarter that sold for $1.9 million. A coin that slipped through the cracks, defied the odds, and made headlines around the world. And the best part? Coins like this are still out there. They weren't minted as part of a special set. They weren't sold at a premium. They were just dropped into circulation like any other coin, which means it's entirely possible one could be hiding in your change.so. Go check your old coin jars. Dig through those drawers. Take a second look at those quarters you were about to spend. Because you never know, one of them might just change your life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories, collecting tips, and true numismatic discoveries. Let me know if you've ever found a rare coin or have a 1965 quarter in your collection. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of pocket change. Let me know if you'd like help turning this into a blog article, social media post, or video description. I can also help you come up with a strong thumbnail title or YouTube tags. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins, currency, and the hidden treasures in your pocket change. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you don't want to miss what we're about to rarest coins today. We're diving into a coin that's shocked the numismatic world and everyday collectors alike. I'm talking about the Washington quarter dollar from 1987, minted in Denver, the 1987 D. Most of these are worth just 25 cents. But one special coin, just one, sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. How did a regular-looking quarter turn into a $1 million treasure? Stick around because we're going deep into the history, the minting process, the rarity, and what makes this one coin so valuable. And who knows, you might just have one sitting in your change jar. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design was supposed to be temporary, but it stuck, and it's been a part of American coinage ever since. Now, by 1987, the U.S. Mint in Denver had already produced millions upon millions of quarters. In fact, that year alone, they minted over 600 million Washington quarters with the D mint mark. So what could possibly make one of them worth more than a mansion? The answer lies in the details, the errors, the condition, the story behind the coin. The 1987 D quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition. It has George Washington's bust on the obverse, and on the reverse, the iconic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows. Nothing unusual, right? But here's where it gets interesting. The coin that sold for $1.3 million wasn't just a standard quarter. It was struck on a planchet intended for a different coin entirely. That's right, a major mint error. It was actually struck on a 25-cent gold alloy planchet that somehow got into the presses during production. To make matters even crazier, the strike was perfectly centered. The details were sharp, the luster was untouched, and the coin was in mint state condition. We're talking MS 68 grade, almost flawless. This particular quarter didn't just fall into someone's lap overnight. It was discovered by an experienced collector who noticed it felt just slightly heavier than normal and had a golden hue. After sending it in for authentication and grading, the results came back, a one-of-a-kind mint error verified by experts. The coin was eventually put up for auction, where the bidding war was intense. Collectors and investors recognized it as a once-in-a-lifetime piece. And when the hammer dropped, the final price was $1.3 million. That's more than some Ferraris, more than some houses, and definitely more than any vending machine snack is worth. Oh, now the big question. Could you have a valuable 1987 D quarter? The truth is, most 1987 D quarters are worth face value. However, coins in pristine condition, especially those graded MS 67 or higher, can fetch a premium. We're talking $20 to $100 or more, depending on the market, but the real money is in the errors. Look for unusual coloration, weight differences, off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. If you think you've found something strange, don't clean it. Send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC and have it professionally evaluated. Even if it's not worth millions, it could still be a valuable find. You might be wondering, why do people pay so much for a quarter? Why does a little piece of metal hold such value? It comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. Coins are tiny time capsules. They carry the story of our economy, our history, our mistakes, and our craftsmanship. And when a perfect storm of factors comes together, like a rare error, pristine condition, and high demand, the value can skyrocket. Coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about discovery. It's about that thrill of finding something rare and significant. That 1987 D million-dollar quarter is proof that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places. So now you know the story behind the 1987 D Washington quarter, the coin that went from pocket change to a million-dollar masterpiece. Have you checked your coins lately? Maybe it's time you should. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you've got a 1987 D in your collection. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your fellow coin collectors, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of rare coins and currency. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy hunting! Let me know if you want a version optimized for a blog post, or if you want visuals or thumbnail text suggestions to go along with this script. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where we unlock the secrets of pocket change and dig up the hidden treasures in everyday coins. If you've ever wondered if that old quarter in your drawer might be worth a small fortune, you're not alone. And today's story is going to blow your mind. We're talking about the Washington quarter from 1995, specifically the 1995 D quarter. At first glance, this coin looks completely normal. It's the kind of quarter you'd use at a vending machine, drop in a parking meter, or hand to a cashier without a second thought. But here's the twist. One rare example of this coin has sold for an astonishing $1.4 million. That's right. A single 1995 D quarter. 25 cents turned into a life-changing payout. Oh, what makes this coin so special? How did it become one of the most valuable quarters ever sold? And how can you tell if you might have one just like it? Stay tuned, because we're diving deep into the history, the details, and the incredible story of the 1995 D Washington quarter and how it became a million-dollar miracle. History of the Washington quarter. Let's rewind a little and talk about where it all began. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was only supposed to be a one-year commemorative coin, but it was so well received by the public that it became a permanent part of U.S. coinage. The original design featured a profile of Washington on the front and a majestic eagle on the back. That design stayed in place all the way until the state quarters program began in 1999. Now, by the time we reached 1995, the Washington quarter had already seen decades of circulation. The 1995 D version was struck at the Denver Mint and had a massive mintage. Over 1 billion coins were produced. That's right, more than 1 billion. So naturally, most 1995 D quarters are extremely common and worth only face value. But as you're about to see, not all coins are created equal. The rare $1 million 1995 D quarter. Let's get to the star of the show. Among the billion-plus quarters minted in Denver in 1995, there was one that stood out. And I mean really stood out. It was a major mint error, the kind of once-in-a-generation mistake that makes collectors go crazy and drives prices through the roof. This particular 1995 D quarter was struck on a 90% silver planchet. That shouldn't have happened. By 1995, silver had been removed from general circulation coins for decades. But somehow, a leftover or misplaced silver blank found its way into the coining press and got stamped with the Washington quarter design. The result? A modern quarter that looks completely normal to the naked eye, but is made of solid silver. And that's not all. The strike on the coin was flawless. The details were sharp, the surfaces were nearly perfect, and it was graded as Mint State 68, which is about as close to perfection as a coin can get. When this coin showed up at auction, collectors knew immediately that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The bidding was intense, with investors, collectors, and institutions all wanting to get their hands on this numismatic unicorn. The final sale price? $1.4 million. And just like that, a 25-cent piece became one of the most expensive modern quarters in U.S. history. How to tell if your 1995 D quarter is thinly now? The question everyone wants to know. Could you have a valuable 1995 D quarter? Let's break it down. First, check the weight. A standard 1995 D copper nickel-clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. But if it was struck on a silver planchet, it will weigh closer to 6.25 grams. You'll need a precise digital scale to check this. Next, look at the edge. A clad quarter will have a visible copper strip along the edge. If your 1995 D quarter has a solid silver edge with no copper line, that's a sign something unusual is going on. Also pay attention to color and luster. Silver has a distinct shine and tone compared to the duller gray look of copper nickel. If your quarter looks unusually bright or silvery, take a closer look. Then there's condition. A coin that's been well preserved and shows no signs of wear is always worth more. Coins that grade MS 65 and above are the ones that really start to gain value. And if you've got a mint error in high grade, that's when the value can shoot into the stratosphere. If you believe you have something special, do not clean it. Never polish or wipe a coin, even if it looks dirty. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Instead, send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC to have it authenticated and properly evaluated. Other valuable 1995 DVNS. Even if you don't have the $1 million silver error, the 1995 D quarter still has some valuable versions. High-grade examples with full luster and nowhere can sell for $50 to $100 or more, depending on demand. Coins with doubling errors or off-center strikes can also command strong prices. So it's always worth checking your coins closely. What looks like a normal quarter could be something very special. Why coin collecting still interesting? Stories like this remind us why coin collecting is so exciting. It's not just about the money, although a $1.4 million payout definitely helps. It's about the mystery, the history, the surprises that come when you least expect them. Coins are little time capsules. They carry the past into the present. And every once in a while, one coin gets struck a little differently. And that's when history is made. Closing and call to. And so there you have it. The amazing story of the 1995 D Washington quarter, a coin that went from 25 cents to $1.4 million. One mistake at the U.S. Mint led to $1 million miracle, and someone walked away with a fortune because they were paying attention. Now it's your turn. Check your change. Look through your old jars. Take a second look at the coins in your wallet. That ordinary-looking quarter might just be your golden ticket. That if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible coin stories, valuation guides, and numismatic tips. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like a matching YouTube title, thumbnail idea, video description, or even a blog post version. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we explore rare coins, hidden treasures, and stories that prove pocket change can sometimes be worth a fortune. If you've ever wondered whether that old quarter in your drawer could be worth more than face value, you're in the right place. Rarest coins. Today we're taking a deep dive into the 1990 D Washington quarter. It's a coin that's typically worth just 25 cents, And yet one example sold for a shocking $1.2 million. That's right, a 1990 quarter from the Denver Mint, a coin that most people would overlook. Turned out to be one of the rarest and most valuable coins of its kind. So what happened here? What makes this particular quarter so incredibly rare and valuable? Stick around because we're going to cover the history of the Washington quarter, the 1990 D mintage, what errors to look for, how to tell if your coin is special, and the full story behind the $1 million find. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter first entered circulation in 1932, designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was never intended to be a permanent coin, but the public liked it, and it quickly became a fixture in American currency. For decades, these quarters were struck in 90% silver, but starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint moved to a copper-nickel-clad composition to save on costs and prevent hoarding during the silver shortage. By the time we get to 1990, the Washington quarter had already been in production for nearly 60 years. The coin still featured George Washington's profile on the obverse and the heraldic eagle design on the reverse. Now here's where things start to get interesting. The 1990 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D Mint mark on the right side of the coin, just behind Washington's ponytail. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 927 million quarters. That's right, nearly a billion of them. So why would anyone pay over $1 million for just one? In general, 1990 D quarters are extremely common. In circulated condition, they're worth 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, most are only worth a few dollars. But as collectors know, it's the outliers, the unexpected, the rare mint errors, the perfect strikes that make all the difference. And one 1990 D quarter turned out to be anything but ordinary. Let's talk about the 1990 D Washington quarter that stunned the coin collecting world. This specific coin was a rare and dramatic mint error. It was struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, a planchet made of solid silver. That shouldn't have been possible in 1990, since silver quarters hadn't been struck for general circulation since 1964. But sometimes, leftover silver planchets, maybe from a commemorative coin or even an experimental batch, accidentally make their way into the regular minting process. That's exactly what appears to have happened here. The coin was not only struck on a silver planchet, but the strike was flawless. It had full details, brilliant luster, and razor-sharp edges. It was graded by a leading grading service as MS-68, a nearly perfect mint state coin. That kind of quality, combined with the silver error, made it one of a kind. And when it went to auction, collectors recognized the rarity immediately. The bid started strong and only got stronger. By the time the final hammer fell, the coin had sold for $1.2 million. That 1990 D quarter instantly became one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. Now the big question, could you have a valuable 1990 D quarter? The odds are slim, but not zero. And if you want to know what to look for, here are some tips. First, check the weight. A regular 1990 D-clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter, however, will weigh around 6.25 grams. A precise digital scale can help you spot the difference. Second, look at the edge. A clad quarter will have a visible copper stripe along the edge, while a silver coin will have a solid silver-colored edge. Third, listen to the sound. A silver coin makes a higher-pitched ringing tone when tapped against another coin or dropped gently. Fourth, pay attention to condition. Coins in mint state condition, especially with full detail and original luster, can bring high prices even without major errors. Finally, if you believe you've found something unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy its value instantly. Instead, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. You might be wondering why someone would pay over $1 million for a single quarter. The answer comes down to rarity, condition, and historical significance. Rare mint errors like the 1990 D silver strike are not just collector's items, they're part of U.S. mint history. They represent moments where something went unexpectedly wrong in a tightly controlled process, and those moments are incredibly appealing to collectors. When you combine a one-of-a-kind error with perfect preservation and a strong backstory, you get a coin that becomes a trophy piece, something that every high-end collector dreams of owning. And the value? That's driven by what someone is willing to pay for a truly unique piece of American history. So there you have it. The unbelievable story of the 1990 D. Washington quarter that turned a 25-cent coin into a $1.2 million treasure. It's a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary-looking things can hold extraordinary value. That the spare change in your pocket might just be hiding a secret. So go ahead, check your change, dig through your coin jars, and pay attention to the details. You never know what you might find. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories about rare coins and hidden treasures. Drop a comment below if you've got a 1990 D quarter or if you've ever found a rare coin in your change. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of pocket change. Let me know if you'd like a blog article version of this script or help creating a thumbnail title or description for your video. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the incredible stories behind everyday coins and reveal how ordinary change can sometimes be worth a fortune. Whether you're a coin collector, a history buff, or someone who just found an old quarter and got curious, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a coin that seems completely normal at first glance. It's the 1995 D. Washington quarter, a coin you might find in your pocket, your car, or even in your change jar. Most people wouldn't think twice about it. But what if I told you that one of these quarters sold for an unbelievable $1.1 million? Yes, a 25-cent piece struck in 1995 at the Denver Mint became one of the most valuable modern coins ever sold. What made it so rare? What details made collectors go crazy over it? Could you be holding one in your own collection without even knowing? Stick around, because in this video we're going to take a deep look into the history of the 1995 D quarter, how it became such a sought-after coin, the incredible story of the million-dollar specimen, and how you can tell if your coin is worth serious money. History of the Washington quarter. Let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932. It was originally designed to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. The obverse of the coin shows a profile of Washington, based on a famous sculpture by Jean-Antoine Houdon, while the reverse features a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings. From 1932 to 1964, these quarters were made from 90% silver. But starting in 1965, due to rising silver prices and hoarding of silver coins, the U.S. Mint changed the composition. Quarters were now made from a copper-nickel clad over a copper core, which continues today. Now, let's fast forward to 1995. That year, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters. In fact, over 1.1 billion 1995 D quarters were struck. That's billion with a B. So how could any of these be rare, let alone worth over $1 million? As it turns out, not all coins are created equal. The $1.10 million 1995 D quarter. Let's talk about the rarest of the rare. Among the massive production run at the Denver Mint, a small number of 1995 D quarters were struck with errors, but one specific coin turned out to be truly extraordinary. This particular quarter was mistakenly struck on a 90% silver planchet. That type of blank hadn't been used for regular quarters since 1964. Somehow, whether due to leftover stock or a striking error at the mint, this silver blank found its way into the production line. The result? A 1995 D quarter that looks normal on the surface but is made from silver instead of copper-nickel. That alone would make the coin highly valuable. But this coin had something else going for it: its condition. It was found in near-perfect mint state, graded MS 68 by a professional grading service. The surfaces were pristine, the strike was sharp, and the luster was outstanding. When this one-of-a-kind coin was authenticated and put up for auction, collectors immediately took notice. Bidding was intense and competitive. In the end, this 25-cent coin sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That sale made history and reminded everyone that even modern coins can carry incredible value under the right circumstances. How to tell if your 1995 D quarter is now the big question. Could you have a valuable 1995 D quarter? Here are the things to look for. Start by checking the weight. A standard copper-nickel 1995 D quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs more, usually around 6.25 grams. Use a precise digital scale to measure it. Next, inspect the edge. A regular quarter will have a visible copper strip along the edge. A silver quarter will have a solid silver edge with no copper coloring. Also, examine the sound. When gently tapped against another coin or dropped on a hard surface, a silver coin produces a higher-pitched, ringing tone, while a clad coin sounds dull. That if your quarter looks or sounds unusual, and especially if the weight is heavier, you may have something special. Do not clean the coin, as that can significantly reduce its value. Instead, send it to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Even if your quarter isn't made of silver, there are still valuable varieties of the 1995 D quarter. Coins with strong doubling on the lettering or numbers, known as double die errors, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And high-grade, uncirculated examples can still command significant premiums from collectors. Why coin collectors love these FNDSO? Why do coins like this fetch such high prices? It comes down to three key factors: rarity, condition, and historical significance. A 1995 D quarter struck on silver is a rare mint mistake from a modern era when such errors are extremely uncommon. Combine that with flawless condition and an official grade of MS 68, and you've got a coin that stands out in every possible way. For serious collectors, owning a coin like this is like owning a piece of history that was never meant to exist. It's the ultimate combination of accident and perfection, and that's what drives these prices through the roof. And just so there you have it. The incredible story of the 1995 D Washington quarter that sold for $1.1 million. A coin that slipped through the system, survived in near-perfect condition, and captured the attention of the numismatic world. Now it's your turn. Go check your quarters. Look through that old coin jar in the kitchen. Dig through the change in your car. You never know, that ordinary-looking coin might just be a rare treasure waiting to be discovered. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Drop a comment below if you have a 1995 D quarter or if you've ever found a rare coin. We love hearing your stories. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, keep looking, and never underestimate the value of your change. Let me know if you'd like help turning this into a video description, title, or thumbnail text. I can also create a blog or article version if needed.